If you think strollers at Walt Disney World are simple, think again. There are rules, there's multiple different rental companies. You can rent from Disney, you can rent from other companies, and there are a few things that you really need to know before you go on your next Walt Disney World vacation. In this video, I'm gonna break down everything that you need to know about strollers at Walt Disney World. From how to rent them from different companies, which companies to use, which companies to avoid, what strollers are best, and what strollers you can bring in the parks, along with a few must-know tips to survive your next Walt Disney World vacation with little kids. As founder of AdventuresOfADisneyDad.com and host of the Adventures of a Disney Dad podcast and a travel agent with a Magic Less Travel, I've booked hundreds of Walt Disney World vacations in the last year alone. And I'm also a dad of 3 kids under the age of 7. And in that process of going to Disney with my family and booking all these vacations, I've used every different stroller rental company that you could imagine. I've tested just about every stroller that you could rent, and I'm here to give you all the tips and tricks that you need to know. So you can be confident that what you're about to learn in this video is not going to be a waste of your time. This is gonna be an in-depth video of everything that you need to know about strollers at Walt Disney World. I'm gonna answer all of the frequently asked questions, and so let's get right to it. Before we jump into whether you should bring your own stroller, rent a stroller, or what stroller you should bring, we need to go over a few ground rules about strollers from Disney. Number 1, Disney limits the size of the strollers that you're allowed to bring into the theme parks. Disney's rule is that they can be 31 inches wide max, and they can be 52 inches long max. To put that into context, a double bob jogging stroller, just like the one I'm gonna show on the screen here, is just under 31 inches wide. So that will fit and will be permitted at Disney parks. What's not permitted are wagons of any kind. There are a few things that you should keep in mind when using your strollers throughout the theme parks, and these tips are important to go over at the beginning because they'll help you decide what stroller you're gonna use when you go on your Disney vacation. Number 1 is when you're using Disney transportation, you often have to fold up the stroller. So for example, if you're going on to the bus services, you have to fold up the stroller every single time you get on the bus. The monorail, you can sometimes drive the stroller directly onto the monorail and keep it open. The Disney Skyliner is similar. Like a lot of times you'll be able to drive a single stroller onto the Skyliner and leave it open, but a double you'll have to fold over or fold up before you get onto the Skyliner. At every theme park and Disney Springs, before you can go in and scan your tickets, you have to go through security. This is very similar to the screening that you would go through to any large event. It's a metal detector and there's gonna be wanding and things of that nature. When you go in with a stroller, you have to get your children and everything out of the strollers. All of your bags, your purses, your kids' diaper bags, everything has to come out. If your child's sleeping, you gotta get them out of the stroller. And it's really important to keep this in mind because it is inevitable that when you go up to security, you'll see somebody that's holding up the entire line because they've got 20 bags underneath their stroller and they're getting everything out, and everyone else has to wait while that person is getting everything out from underneath their stroller. So be prepared in advance. Take all of your stuff out from underneath your stroller and then push your stroller through security and your process will go a lot faster. Prepare yourself. Don't be that guy holding up the security line for your 90 bags underneath your stroller. Stroller parking. In the theme parks, there are designated areas to park your stroller while you go on rides or you go in shows or you go in to eat. If you happen to park your stroller in an area that's not a designated stroller parking area, cast members will often move the stroller to the appropriate parking spot. Don't be alarmed, your stroller's not been stolen or anything like that. Cast members have likely just moved it to a different area. One tip is to make sure that you bring something identifiable that you can use and attach to your stroller. You'll see a lot of stroller signs with the family name that'll hang down from the back. You can get those on Amazon or Etsy. I'll link a few of my favorites in the description of this video. You can also hang different ribbons, or you can buy a balloon once you're in the theme parks and put the balloon on your stroller, and it helps to make it easier. Everybody at the theme parks is using a similar stroller. They're all using similar rental services, and so a lot of them will look the same. It's important that when you come out and you look for your stroller, you can get on with your day and you're not gonna spend 20 minutes looking for it. Now, the first and probably the most frequent question that I'm asked is, do my kids even need a stroller at Disney? And the answer is inevitably yes, in my opinion. If you're even considering it slightly, that you might need a stroller for your Disney vacation, just get it. It is not that expensive. It's not gonna break your budget on your Disney vacation. We'll talk about those rental prices in a minute, and you can always also bring your own. My general rule of thumb when I'm helping guests plan a vacation is that if your kids are age 8 or younger, you should make sure that you have a stroller. You'll have multiple days where you're walking 7+ miles, and even your older children who don't typically need a stroller are gonna get tired, they're gonna get cranky, and it just gives them some shade and a place to lay down. You can get a stroller fan that can cool down, especially if it's hot hot and they can get out of the sunlight. It's also great for us parents and grandparents so that we're not gonna have to carry the kids 24/7. You can tell them that they need to sit in the stroller. Now that we've decided we need a stroller for our Disney vacation, the next question is, should I bring my own or should I rent? I'm a huge advocate for renting strollers when you go on a Disney vacation, and it's mostly because I don't wanna carry our stroller through the airport, check it, get it on the airplane, get it off the airplane, and deal with all that hassle, especially if you're bringing a double jogging stroller. And in large part, it's because the stroller rental process is so affordable and so easy. The pros to bringing your own stroller is that you're comfortable with it, you know how to use it, you can easily fold it down or manipulate it however you need to. There's no rental fees, and it's also familiar and it's something that you know your kids are going to be comfortable in. You may also have accessories for it like drink trays or rain shields that you don't want to have to buy or rent separately for somebody else's stroller. The main downside to bringing your own stroller is the wear and tear that travel puts on the stroller. You never know how someone in an airline, for example, is going to take care of your stroller. It's also kind of brutal getting beaten around in the theme parks because you're coming on and off curbs. There's also brick paved streets throughout Magic Kingdom. There are areas where there's a railway through the middle of the street, so you're kind of going off-roading a little bit with the strollers. And that's one of the things that we'll consider when we're deciding what stroller we should have for Walt Disney World. But the main thing is you kind of just don't want to wreck your own. I'd rather wreck somebody else's. If you're finding value out of this video, I would greatly appreciate it if you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so that you can get more videos like this to help you plan your Walt Disney World vacation. Now we're going to talk a little bit about renting strollers at Walt Disney World. At this point, we've made the decision, hey, we're gonna leave our own stroller at home. So what are my rental options and how does that work at Walt Disney World? First, if there's nothing else that you take away from this video, it should be this. Do not, under any circumstances, rent a stroller from Disney directly at Walt Disney World. Why do I say that? Number one, they look like this. So you can tell that they're hard, they're plastic, they're cheap, they're not easy to move, and honestly, they're kind of annoying. But most important, they're more expensive than the other rentals that offer quality strollers. So if we look here at the Walt Disney World website, it shows that a single stroller rental is $15 for multiple days. On the length of your stay, it's $13 per day. A double stroller is $31 a day. For a multi-day length of stay rental, it's $27. One of the most important things here is that you cannot leave the theme park with the stroller. So you'll get it at the front gate. There's a different option at each park. You'll be able to use it throughout the day while you're in the parks, and then you return it. You cannot bring it outside of the parks. It's just a terrible option, honestly. You'll see here on the Walt Disney World website, they have a featured provider who is called ScooterBug. ScooterBug is the #1 rental service that I recommend and that I typically use for all my clients. And here's why. When you go through ScooterBug, I'll show you their website very quickly. It is very similar in price to most of the other competitors in the area from a third-party perspective, and it's cheaper than Disney. If you look here, the Bob Revolution Flex Double, which is what I recommend for anybody that has more than one kid, it's $28 per day on a 4-day rental. That's cheaper than what you're gonna get with Walt Disney World on a single day basis, which was $31. It's $1 more than the multi-day rental, which was $27. ScooterBug is the best rental option because you come here to ScooterBug's website, you pick the stroller you want, you enter your vacation days, and you secure your rental, and they're the only third party that can deliver to Walt Disney World without you actually having to be there and meet the person making the delivery. This is huge when you're on a Disney vacation. For ScooterBug, what you'll do is you'll set up your delivery time. Say you're arriving on March 31st at 10 a.m. You'll set your stroller arrival time for 9 a.m. on March 31st. When you arrive at your resort, you'll go to Bell Services and the stroller will be there waiting for you. How nice is that? You don't have to meet anybody. It's just there at Bell Services. It'll have your name on it. You'll tell them that you're there to pick up your stroller. They'll ask you your name, they'll go get it, and they'll bring it out to you, and you're on your way. It's the same process for drop-off. You'll set up your drop-off time to be after you leave the resort. When you're going to leave for the airport, you'll walk down to Bell Services, you'll hand them the stroller, and then you'll go on your way. Nothing else that you need to do. The convenience of ScooterBug and the quality of the strollers for the price that's available makes it so easy to rent a stroller that I typically never recommend somebody bring their own. You can see here they've got great and popular stroller options, from the City Mini 2 Single, the Bob Revolution Single, which is another jogging stroller, the Bob Revolution Double, or the City Mini Double. Those are two of the most popular stroller companies out there today. I always recommend clients get the jogging strollers Again, because they've got more of like a shock absorber and they're used to a little bit of wear and tear, going on and off the curbs, going over the bricks, and kind of bouncing around a little bit, that it's not going to bother your kids as much. So I really, really like those strollers. I don't typically recommend the City Mini options unless that's something that people are really familiar with at home and they just want to have the same stroller that they typically have for their own comfort, like we talked about. These are great options. They have tons available, and so you never really have problems with there not having the stroller available for the dates of your vacation. I typically recommend people look about 30 days to 45 days in advance, but you can certainly book it earlier if you'd like. I would not wait until the last minute on this, especially if you're going to Disney in a popular period like spring break, where a lot of people need strollers. When it does occasionally happen that there's not a stroller available, like on a last minute trip, and I need to use a different service, and again, we're not going to use Disney, the next company that I tend to recommend is called Kingdom Strollers. They're also a company that provides third-party rentals. The pricing and the options here are going to be very similar. You'll see that they've got the City Mini, they've got the Summit and the Bob Revolution single jogging strollers. The pricing here is going to be very similar, $75 for 1 to 3 nights, $95 for 4 to 7 nights. It's a little bit less expensive than ScooterBug, but there's a reason for that, and I'll talk about that in a second. It's only like a few dollars cheaper. But the double here, you've got the City Mini double, and then you've got the Bob double, 4 to 7 nights, $115. When you compare that to ScooterBug, the double here is $28 a day, so it's gonna be very, very comparable. The difference here is that when you rent from any other third-party stroller company, you have to meet the driver at the time of delivery. And for your travel days, this can be incredibly annoying. It's not a make or break thing, and they do a great job. When you go through the rental process, you'll select an arrival window for an hour window for the driver to come and meet you at your resort. You go down to the lobby, they'll text you in advance when they're on their way, and they are almost always on time, so that's never really an issue. But it does leave a window of your vacation that, number one, you have to make sure that you're there. So in the event that your flight's delayed or you have other transportation issues, that can become problematic to try and reschedule. They're usually pretty good about it, but it's still just a hassle that you don't want on your vacation. And you have to wait an hour window that you don't know specifically when the driver is going to be there at your resort. Sometimes when you land, you want to take advantage of the free water park access on your check-in day. You don't want to be sitting around waiting for the driver to arrive to bring your stroller. So that's my only knock on Kingdom Strollers. I've used it personally for my family. It's a great service. The drivers are fantastic. The customer service is great. The pricing, again, is great. My only issue with it is that I don't want to have to wait and meet a driver from Kingdom Strollers or any other company. I want to come, go straight to Bell Services, get my stroller, and be on my way with my vacation. And certainly the same thing goes for on the return flight. When I'm leaving on my travel day, I don't want to have to meet somebody to drop the stroller off when I'm packing to get my kids ready for the airport. One of the major benefits for these stroller options is that you have full access to use the stroller however you want. So you can use them in the parks, you can use them at Disney Springs, you can use them around the resort, you can take them wherever you want to. There are no limitations. The rental is yours. You are obviously responsible for it, so you don't want to damage it, all of that fun stuff. But you don't have the limitations that the Disney strollers have. What are the best strollers to use for your Walt Disney World vacation? Well, our family, a lot of times we like to bring a lightweight pop-up stroller like this one here, and I will also link it below in the description. And it just lets us have something that we can use through the airport with our youngest child. It's a single stroller, and it's just really, really lightweight, easy to fold up and throw in the overhead bin. We don't actually have to check it or gate check it or anything like that. And it just gives us something to use at the airport to and from our vacation. Jogging strollers are always my recommended stroller for the reasons I talked about a little bit earlier. They're just easier to use in the parks. I found that they're just more mobile. They're obviously heavier, which can be a pain when you're breaking them down to get on the bus or onto the Skyliner. But we found that they're the most comfortable for our kids. And my clients have all said the same thing. Like, the jogging strollers are typically just the way to go. So whether you bring your own or you rent one, think about using a jogging stroller. I'll link some of my favorites below. We personally use the Bob because we have the Bob single and the Bob double at home. So that's something that's just been easier for our kids, and there's just no downside to it. It's our favorite stroller, and my wife has also written an entire stroller guide on our website that I will also link down below if you want to read more of her breakdown on why she likes these specific strollers over others. If you have questions about strollers at Walt Disney World, drop them in the comments, shoot me an email. If you would like me to plan your vacation and help book all of your stroller rentals, your dining reservations, your lightning lanes, the whole kit and caboodle, I'm happy to help you. My services are completely free as a travel agent with the Magic for Less Travel. The link to get a quote is going to be in the show notes. You can also email me at any time with any questions, and I'm happy to help you plan a magical Walt Disney World vacation. If you found this information valuable, I would greatly appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and let me know in the comments if you have any other questions about strollers at Walt Disney World.